My name is Jarkko Niemi and this is joint presentation with Thobe from Theunen Institute, but unfortunately Petra could not stay, so I will speaking on behalf of both of us. So I'm coming from Natural Resources Institute of Finland, which is a government research institute operating in different places across Finland, and we are covering all parts of the agriculture and food chain, but in addition also environment and game and fisheries and forestry. And in the PPILOW project, I was leading work package 1, and then we are also contributing quite a lot to work package 7, which this presentation is mostly about. So just to show where we are. So now you have seen this, I think, before. So we are now here on the close to the end of the arrow, where farm welfare is assessed and innovations and creation of economic and business models are considered. So, and this is just a quick illustration how things are related to each other. So work package 7 is the yellow one on top there, and it is related especially to work package 1, 2 and 3, which are providing input to work package 7. So basically data, and then work package 7 is utilizing that data to carry out this multi-criteria analysis that Lucia presented, and then also economic and business model analysis. And for this, it is important that we really get this data from field activities, and we can also then feed the results back to NPGs, so these national practitioner groups, and basically validate, for instance, business models there. And what is also important is that we have a kind of a consensus about indicators that we are using. So this requires exchange of knowledge at different levels. So the aim of work package 7 is to focus on the most promising solutions that are examined by PPILOW project. So evaluation of sustainability in compliance with the One Welfare concept, and then building advanced economic and business models for the most promising solutions so that we can assess what is their actual potential in terms of implementing the practices on farms which are operating in commercial environments. So this whole work package includes then environmental, social and economic aspects. And what is important is that if we actually want to implement and if we want that these practices that are improving animal welfare, that they will prevail in commercial settings, then it is really important that they are economically sustainable, meaning that farmers can gain something from using these, and those benefits are bigger than the costs. So how do you then assess business potential? So this is one way to think about it. So basically, if you are starting to develop a business model, it actually all starts from the vision. You need to have an idea what do you want to do and why. Then you should test and validate and improve the business model's assumptions. So for instance, by thinking about what is the target market and what are the customers that we are targeting, and why they are our customers. I mean, what is the reason that people would be interested in, for instance, buying high animal welfare products? And in this case, even higher welfare products than what is, for instance, standard organic product. So we need to identify what kind of market opportunities there are, and then we also need to think about how we can reach the customers. For instance, which channels we can use to deliver the products. In organic farming, for instance, and in organic supply chains, there are also direct sales short supply chains, in addition to this conventional supply chains and value chains where you deliver, for instance, pigs to slaughter, and then somebody processes them and brings them to the grocery stores. So in organic and free-range production, these alternative concepts can be really important. And that also partly relates to that how we are pricing the products. And even for this, there are different models. For instance, when online food sales have become more common, there are different models. For instance, you can subscribe a certain package of food which is delivered to you, let's say like once a month or once a week, whatever is the model there. And you might also combine, for instance, the possibility to consumers or customers to visit the farm and see that the pigs are or hens are actually kept. So that might be part of this package. So then you specify the value proposition, which is kind of a short message that focuses on your product and why it is worth buying. And basically, this value proposition is then actually addressing something that is kind of an issue to the consumer. So for instance, if there's a certain group of consumers who are concerned about animal welfare in pig and poultry production, then the value proposition could be relating to this animal welfare or ethical concerns and be somehow better than the alternative products on the market. And then you select the most suitable channels, and what is then important from the economic perspective is that you need to determine revenues and costs of the system, and these revenues should be higher than the cost of product or service that is delivered to the customer. And one of the common mistakes when developing business models is that you have actually really good product, but nobody is wanting to, well, or at least not enough customers are wanting to buy that. So in that sense, it's also important to do the homework in the sense that that you know what is the demand for the product and how much people are willing to pay for that. So that leads to this figure. So in multi-criteria analysis, economic models and business models, we need both qualitative and quantitative data, but actually for economic part, especially this quantitative data is more important. And I will skip that. So what we have done in PPILOW is that we have tried to collect information from real settings. This economic profitability of different models and animal welfare improving practices can be assessed by using trial-based data, but it's even better if you are able to use data from actual farms. And especially in organic and free-range outdoor production, there's actually quite little economic data that is available. So for instance, what is the level of production costs, especially in free-range production, that's perhaps not so well known. And what is also complicating things here is that especially these non-organic outdoor production systems, they can be really different. So there's actually no one standard for that, but it's actually a set of different operational models. So I think you have seen this. Here's a figure about costs of produced organic chicken meat. So and the blue bar is then separated into small pieces on that graph on the other side. And you can see that, for instance, feed is really important. It's actually the single most important cost item in all livestock production. So here we looked at or compared dual-purpose poultry breeds, and there were 3 genotypes, A, B, and C, and then genotype ISA 757 as a comparison. I think this was also shown yesterday. So what we need actually for this economic analysis is, and here we are using so-called primal approach, which means that we are constructing the cost and revenues based on these biological parameters. So basically we need information about, for instance, feed conversion ratio, daily weight gain, duration of production cycle, and final weights and mortality and many other things. So this is originating from on-station trial of males selected for dual-purpose genotypes in Germany. And here you can see the example of first results from the analysis. So if you take these biological and production parameters and interpret them in terms of costs, here it is how it looks like. So the red one is the cost of feed, and then the brown on top is other non-factor costs, and then we have on green labor costs, and then the one on bottom is chicks, and then the other costs are quite small. But when you look at this, you can see that cost differences range from 70 euros per 100 kilograms of live weight for this ISA 7.57 up to 107 euros per 100 kilograms of live weight for genotype G. So these birds originating from dual-purpose breeds, they are more expensive to rear, and this is all in euro terms. But actually, having a higher cost does not necessarily mean that it is less profitable. So here is one other aspect. So we have the information similar to previous figure, and then the dots there are total returns. So these alternative ways of rearing birds, they can actually also have the potential to generate higher revenues. So actually, if you subtract the cost from revenues, then these A, B, and C seem to be a bit more profitable than the reference genotype. And then it also matters what is the perspective here. So this is all in euros per 100 kilograms of live weight, but then if you look at the farm level, then it also matters how many animals you have and what is, for instance, the duration of the production cycle. And basically you can have a look at the short-term profitability, which is defined as total returns minus cash costs, so for instance feed and so on, and then all the way up to the long-term profitability, where you subtract all the costs, including fixed costs such as amortization of capital and interest and so on from the revenues. Then if you think about setting up a business that is based on this model or these dual-purpose genotypes, then it is also important to think that how does the operating environment of the farm look like? And then you need to think about what kind of input suppliers there are. So for instance, here we have on top in blue different stakeholders. I'm not going to go into the details, but like feed suppliers, genetic suppliers, vet services, and so on. And then in red there are the farms, and then there are processors. And for instance, if the farm is also processing the animals, that's a completely different perspective to the business than if the farm is only selling the animals to somebody who is processing them. And then we also have the distribution, and that's also another aspect that needs to be given attention. So, and this all, well, what kind of approach will be selected and what is the most promising one, then it also depends on whether there is a market opportunity. So a business can be profitable, and it must be profitable if it's going to survive. And then the structure of the supply chain, it actually depends on what kind of market opportunities there are. So for instance, if there's a good system to deliver the animals to the markets and and there's not much that can be gained in that frontier, then maybe it's better to focus on the primary production. But if there are no this kind of alternative solutions available, then maybe it actually makes sense to focus on this market opportunity. So as I said, defining what is the structure of the value chain or the supply chain, and how the business is focusing on, that's quite important. And then in this respect, it's quite essential to think about what are the top features of the product that we have, and what is the reason why the product is worth buying to. So do we have an argument that is good enough? And if this is all okay, then we think about other aspects. And then it all comes back to the economic analysis, that what costs and resources are needed and how much revenue will be generated. So we need to think about what is the competitive advantage, so how we can be better than the competitors. And in order to this, it's important also to understand the market. And in the PPILOW project in Work Package 1, we did some surveys. So here you can see results from a citizen survey that we carried out in all 9 PPILOW countries, and this is indicating that whether consumers and citizens were considering that these dual-purpose breeds and innovosexing are desirable methods to replace the practice of killing day-old male chicks. And actually, most of the people thought so, but this actually varies also from country to country, as you can see. And then also we did the similar type of questions to farmers and supply chain experts, and then the results were a bit more variable or complicated. So actually, many farmers and experts thought that actually these practices are quite good in the sense that there are welfare benefits, but there are also some barriers which might prevent their application. And typically these barriers are actually related to for instance, economic conditions, so that the practice might have animal welfare benefits, but it is, for instance, too costly to be applied. And in this case, it actually, some farmers thought that there are benefits and there are disadvantages, and but quite many farmers thought that there are actually lots of benefits, but some also thought that there are disadvantages which might prevent the adoption of dual-purpose breeds. So, coming then to the kind of a summary analysis of dual-purpose breeds. So this is basically actually an opportunity to organic farming that emphasizes naturalness. And naturalness is one of the 2 key concepts through which consumers conceptualize animal welfare. And it's also a possibility for short supply chain, because this is kind of a niche and premium product that is coming from dual-purpose breeds. So these dual-purpose breeds could be targeting ethically conscious consumers, and especially those who appreciate slow-growing broilers. And they would also offer the possibility of supplying new types of products, for instance, smaller birds, for instance, for small families or older people. Also, perhaps new products for pets or zoo animals, and so on. So there are different ways how these dual-purpose breeds could be better utilized. But this all would require the branding, and then that there are measures taken to increase consumer awareness, so that they would be knowledgeable about these new products. And then, of course, there are also some practical aspects that need attention, but I'm not going to go through those. And what is also perhaps quite essential in this and also in many other cases related to animal welfare improvements in organ chain is that there's a need for business operators to partner across value chain. And this concerns especially the cases where short supply chain is the practice that is selected. Well, in the end you can think about this all through business model canvas, but that's actually these elements of the canvas are something that I was going through, so I'm not going to focus on that. So in conclusion, there are different methodological approaches that were used to standardize data that was used in work package 7. And then we focused on those solutions which are most promising ones. And also we were paying attention to one welfare concept. These most promising solutions were then examined by using multi-criteria analysis, and then also we have been developing a set of business models for these most promising practices. So this presentation was focusing on dual-purpose breeds, but there are also actually more of these welfare improving practices that we have been thinking about. And regarding these dual-purpose breeds, they might fit very well to the organic systems. And one argument for that could be that both organic system and dual-purpose breeds are having kind of a holistic and natural approach to broiler production. And they both involve the use of slow-growing breeds, so in that sense this could be an opportunity. And that was the last slide. Thank you.